Probably I would have done that, but it just came over the side. Popped up. I was almost like, I really like it. I don't want to lose them and see what else we get. So I just grabbed them. Yeah, I'm very happy. Second 26. So. Oh yeah, you do. I see you can lean forward and go off. See, we were there. Your brother and I went. A couple times had bad seats other places, and then we went to the tree. Because you're stuck in your jump and restart, and we were in the tree and saw that button. Like he passed it, like, wait, he can't. So we bought him on the street, and they were like, these are great. So I said, well, I would like to see this part of the film. Like, no, that's good. Yeah, I went back and forth. Basically, it's not good again. Last time it was before the school. We've been in the brickyard. Went to the famous Formula 1 race. Yeah, that one, the Formula 1 one, I don't think they had one. They had a fire issue, but only like 6 cars to the race. And we had first seats were at the end of the front stretch going into the first round. I mean, you cannot have our seats for Formula 1 race. That's where everything happened. When it started, that happened.
together, shall we? Like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. Yes. Well, that's hooey. If by that logic, it's July out there, right? Feels like summer. I tell you what, it hardly feels like autumn, but it looks like autumn, and we're going to go with it. How about that? Good morning and welcome to Unity of Music City. It is a place of authentic transformation. We are glad you're here, and we are also glad that we have Sherry Phillips in the house with us today. That is always a fantastic thing. Let me tell you, I've got a few quick announcements to make, and then we're going to sing another new song, and I promise to get that one right. First off, this afternoon from 2:45 to 4:30 with Becky Astorita is AcuDetox and Reiki. If you're interested in that, and is Becky here? I don't know that I see Becky here. But ask one of us, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. This afternoon, probably if you're going, you've already made some arrangements for that. But I'm sure she might accept a last-minute person as well. This Thursday evening is Reiki with Bonnie, opening to self-love. Bonnie Hassan, is Bonnie here? There's Bonnie right there. Bonnie's here, so Thursday night. And then this Saturday, November 11th, this upcoming Saturday, there will be another Love the Land Day from 9 a.m. to 12 till noon. Finishing up some things from last month, and Carolyn Bauer is here somewhere. I've seen her. There she is. If you're interested, please come help Carolyn out as we prepare the land for winter and all that kind of good stuff. Coming up a little later in the month, just a quick mention, we've got Susie Wright's November 16th Mediumship and Intuitive Development Circle. We've got a new bulletin. Pick one up on your way out today and put it on your refrigerator. It's got all kinds of interesting and fun things, including Susie's upcoming mediumship gathering. And guess what? It's birthday Sunday. You know what that means? If you got a birthday in the month of November, stand on up and let us honor you for that. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you. Now everybody else stand up right along with them. We're going to do something just a little bit different today. Are you ready? We're gonna pit you all one against each other. That sounds very Unity, doesn't it? We're gonna do a little call and response echo thing. So this side is gonna start and sing a line, and then that side will sing it right behind them. You'll get it about the time we finish. But by the end of November, it'll be fantastic. Just follow us. I promise I'll try to do it right this time.
Pick a side. Pick a side, Jan.
To be a force for good in our community. You've probably seen that big table full of coats that we've been collecting for our folks at Dodson Chapel. Congrats on you. Way to go for stepping up. We're still collecting for Pennington Elementary, but we're focusing right now on our Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary. So Sherry's going to say a few words about that for us. Sherry?
Good morning. Okay, last week we did a great job. We've done all kinds of good, nice, fun things for our Old Dog Senior Sanctuary. This week our emphasis is on the things that they use up. You know what I'm saying? You know, air fresheners, hand sanitizers, all of those things. You know, the potty pads. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? They have 60-some odd dogs. How many potty pads? Huh? And paper towels. Oh my goodness.
also want to let you know, if you'd like to, you can also just make a check to the church or give a donation and specify Senior Dogs. We'll get it to Linda and Sherry for you as well. So thank you, Sherry, for that. Coming up this week, ongoing as always, Lunch Bunch on Wednesdays at 11:30, looking at The Hope, A Guide to Sacred Activism by Andrew Harvey. So if you've got some time during the day, come on out and join those folks. And then our Wednesday evening class, of course, are the circles, the peace circles that are facilitated by Denise Yerkin and Becky Astorita. It's a 9-week peace circles program, and that's always a fantastic and transformative experience if you haven't had that. Come on out and join us. B?
Good morning. Would the other prayer chaplains please stand? The prayer chaplains are here to pray with you, and know that there will be a prayer chaplain in the prayer room after the service if you would like prayer right after the service. Thank you. For the next 2 months, we will be using the process of Lectio Divina, which is a Latin term meaning divine reading. This is a way of reading the scriptures and reflecting on them that assists us in letting go of our own agendas and allowing Spirit to speak to us through the sacred texts. For the month of November, we will be taking our sacred readings from a book entitled Psalms for Praying, An Invitation to Wholeness by Nana Merrill. So, the affirmation. The more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for. Together. The more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for. Psalm 1. Blessed are those who walk hand in hand with goodness, who stand beside virtue, who sit in the seat of truth. For their delight is in the spirit of love, and in love's heart they dwell day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water that yield fruit in due season, and their leaves flourish, and in all that they do, they give life. The unloving are not so. They are like dandelions which the wind blows away. Turning from the heart of love, they will know suffering and pain. They will be isolated from wisdom, for love knows the way of truth. The way of ignorance will perish, as love's penetrating light breaks through hearts filled with illusions. Thankfulness is the way to goodness. The more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for.
So I ask that you just settle into your seats and focus first on your breath. And begin to pay attention how easy your breath comes into your body. And as you are taking a breath in, drop 18 inches to your heart space. The more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for. Blessed are those who walk hand in hand with goodness, and who stand beside virtue, who sit in the seat of truth, for their delight is in the spirit of love, and in love's heart they dwell day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water. They yield fruit, and their leaves flourish. And in all that they do, they give life. And so as you continue to focus on your heart space, asking yourself in this time of silence, what did I hear? What was truth spoken to me? Just for me. In this moment. In the silence. In the silence. The more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for. Thankfulness is the way back to goodness, to love, to joy, to peace. Thankful are we.
For always be
used to me being so quiet. I'm gonna say I have a whole lot to be grateful for right now. As many of you know, I'm in Sonoma County out in California. And there's been just so much devastation. So many families in need of bare necessities. And I remember the 5th day of the fires. They were still burning like crazy. There was nothing they could really do. And for whatever reason, that morning I walked out of my backyard and I got my hot tub, and there was just like a 30-minute window of a blue sky. And I noticed the birds. And I realized I hadn't heard the birds since the fire started. And in that moment, I remembered it's all well, all is well. Even this, there will be blessing. So I just want to share that with you. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Clouds drifting by, you know how I feel. Reeds drifting by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Rivers running free, you know how I feel. Love songs in the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, new life for me, and I'm feeling good, yeah. Come on. Dragonflies up in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean? Sleepy beach when the day is done, that's what I mean. And this new world, it's a bold world and a new world for me. Oh, it's for me. Judy, I just want to hear you play for a minute. I need it. Come on. Stars, when you shine, you know what I mean. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new day, it's a new dawn, a new world for me, for me. For me. And I'm feeling
for the heart I have, for the love I give, for the love I take, for the reason to live. I'm so grateful, grateful am I am,
So if that didn't make you feel good, you are dead. And you need to go back home and climb in the cupboard. So nobody has said anything yet about all the stuff on the walls, which I will explain in a little while. But my intention over this month is to cultivate in you a habit of being thankful every day. And so when we are here, we're going to have a chance. Know that before you leave, everyone is asked to take one of those little stickers off of one of those places and write something on it that you're thankful for. And before you leave, put it somewhere on the wall. And then when this service is over with, I will take all of those from this first week and put them on something and put them on the back wall. And we'll do it again, 4 Sundays in a row. But I also hope that this doesn't stop here at church on Sunday morning. This is a process called gratitude graffiti, which I'll explain a little bit to you later. It's something that began in Vancouver, Canada, several years ago. But I encourage you to do it everywhere you go. I encourage you to put it on your desk. I encourage you to put it on your refrigerator. I encourage you to put a note in your car. I encourage you to put a note on your forehead if you need to remember. Write it on your hand. That was a practice that some of us did when we were in ministerial school. Anytime we were at the village, we got up every morning and wrote our thankfulness on our hands. And then we would just look at them all day long. It's like it gets you into the habit, and it shifts your mind out of all the busyness that's going on out there, because we're saying we want to be a force for good. And there are many of us out here right now doing all kinds of things, but we still have to work on us and the good that's inside of us. And the fastest way that I know to shift your own consciousness is to be thankful. It works every time. Even when you're in the midst of what Sherry was in the midst of. It works every time. And if you are skeptical, then play this little fun game with us for this month and see what begins to happen inside your own mind. So say with me our affirmation this morning. The more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for. And you did not convince me. Because the energy level was about like, the more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for. So say it again, and this time convince yourself. Not anybody else around you, but convince yourself. Go. The more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for. That was much more convincing. Did you hear yourself that time? So, Crystal, in her fabulous crafts that she does with our kids, put these pumpkins out here, and some of you have actually written gratitude things on them. They've been out here on the table. They're going to be here. I don't know what happened to that one. Charlotte must have eaten it, and it's gone, right? That one disappeared. Who knows? But there are people that have written gratitude on those pumpkins. So what I'm going to tell you is you have permission from me for the next 4 Sundays to get up and walk around while I'm talking. When the mood strikes you and you think, oh, that's what I'm thankful for, because we're going to talk about different things, and you're going to have some moments to share with some other people, go get yourself one of those sticky notes. The youth department put this up for me this morning, and they put pins in the back of all the seats, so there is no excuse for anybody. There's pins. Don't tell me I don't have a pin. There's some. So anytime you would like to do it, go get yourself a sticky note, write a thankfulness on it, and then stick it up anywhere you want it to be. What I want to tell you is that our Unity's 3rd principle is what? So I want you to talk to somebody right beside you for a moment and explain how that has anything to do with being thankful for this month. Go. So I don't know if any of you said that the more you're thankful, the more you have to be thankful for, but that's the deal. Thoughts and mind reproduce after their kind. If I start my day and end my day with thankfulness, I'm going to have more tomorrow. If I do a thankfulness journal every night before I go to bed, I'm going to have more every day. And the more I write down, the more I think about it. And then the more that I'm out in the world, I go, oh, I'm thankful for that. You know, the law of attraction teaches rampage of appreciation. That's an odd term, rampage. But the practice was about when you are in a place that you are not necessarily thankful for. Anybody ever had to stand in a line at Walmart and you were not thankful? And anytime I have to do that or sit in traffic, I do rampage of appreciation because it shifts my consciousness. I don't sit there and snarl. I go, okay, what are all the things that I can see or think of that I can be thankful for in this moment? And you know what begins to happen? Traffic starts clearing up, the line starts moving, and I giggle. So, the Dalai Lama, and the interesting thing about the gratitude process that we're doing, gratitude graffiti started in Vancouver, Canada, and this picture was taken in an elementary counseling room in Vancouver, Canada. So obviously Vancouver, Canada has something going on that we need to find out about. The Dalai Lama went to Vancouver schools to find out because they had the gratitude process going on in their school system. And they had some interesting things that we call in metro schools morning meetings. But what they called them was morning gratitude circles. And when he walked into the first classroom, these children, you see, were sitting in a circle, passing around something just like we do in our peace circles, and when you have the item, you can talk. And the whole conversation every morning is say something you're thankful And you want to know what the children told him after he went through the circle with them? We have better attendance, we have better attitudes, and we have better grades. Huh. See, our school board member just wrote that down. How does that happen? How does it happen that we work so very hard in our world, especially in schools and elementary schools, to get kids to show up for school, to get kids to have good attitudes so they can function in the world, and to get them to have good achievement, good test scores, good homework turning in? And the children in this circle told the Dalai Lama, now can you imagine being in elementary school and the Dalai Lama comes sitting in your piece of I'd be like, oh, this is kind of cool. Of course, if I'd have gone home and told my mama the Dalai Lama had sit in the peace circle with me, my mother would say, who was that? Judy and I went to see the Dalai Lama at some point in time. Where were we? Emory University. Yes, because Cynthia was there too, right? And my mother didn't even know who the Dalai Lama was. I was like, isn't that interesting?
It's the name of the kid's toy.
Well, a name of the kid's toy,
It's
yes.
the kid's toy.
Dalai Lama. That's kind of what she thought it was. Yes. But what if this particular picture was taken during a Friday morning, but what if we did our schools this way? What if we did our homes this way? What if, when you came together as a family, you had a gratitude moment, and you talked about what you were thankful for, instead of what was going on the news? And how might that shift the energy? So again, this is just a hint, because my intention this month is to remind you to be thankful in whatever ways that you can. Little Post-it notes are cheap. Go buy some. Write something on it every day and stick it on your car where you can read it while you're in the traffic. Again, put it on your computer screen at your office. Put it on the refrigerator. Put it in the bathroom when you get ready. So, one of the things we are doing this month also is a practice that came through the Benedictine kind of experience of reading Scripture. We will read from the Psalms this month. I haven't decided what we're going to read from in December. But know that you don't have to read from the Bible. You can read from any sacred scriptures. And when I finally began to understand about this practice, I thought this is the same thing they teach in Unity schools. Is that we sometimes in the Western culture have read the scriptures and not known how to interpret them. And so we interpret them in the way that somebody else has interpreted them for us. And the beauty of the Lectio Divino experience is that you interpret it in that moment for you. So I want everybody to breathe. And if you are a person who believes that I have to interpret the Bible in the right way, that there is a right and wrong way, and that if I interpret it in the wrong way, I'm going to go to hell, let's let that go. Because everything we read, whether it be the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or anything else that's a sacred scripture or even a book, because I read lots of things every day, and they all affect me differently. And I had a conversation with a client yesterday, and I said, isn't it interesting that as we grow, we can read the same book again 5 or 10 years later, and it means something different then? Has anybody experienced that? That's what this process is about. So I'm going to give you an experience of this scripture right here. Came out of the Psalms. Oh, come, let us sing unto the Lord. The Lord really is translated law. The law of attraction. Universal law. There is not a Lord sitting out on the cloud. Remember? There's not one. There's not. Remember? Don't you remember being there at some point in time? There was not a Lord sitting on the cloud. It's the law, the universal law. We just did it this morning at the beginning of our service. And Sherry did it. We were singing to the energy that is in the universe. And you were stirring it up on the inside of you. One of the things that Judy and I feel very strongly about, and that's why I'm so glad that this church is called Unity of Music City, is that it makes a difference if you sing. I know some of you go, I don't sing pretty. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, because what is happening inside of you is it's tuning you up to the harmonies of the universe. So even if you don't want to sing out loud, you can hum, because it makes a difference. Oh, come, let us sing unto the law. Let us make a what kind of noise? That's why we're going to focus on being thankful this month. Because there's lots of things going on in the world out there, if you watch the news, to be about. And the only way to get up out of that, the fastest way to get up out of that, is to be thankful. Every moment of every day. Anytime you get into a moment. That's why you may need to write it on your hand. Keep you a sticker, stick it on your head, stick it on your hand, stick it somewhere so you'll see it. Yeah. Woo! Dr. Hugh went down a funky path already. Stick it somewhere. Anywhere. Wherever you want to stick it. That's your business, okay? Only at Unity. Only at this Unity. I had a dear friend, well, Daniel Bell, you know Daniel Bell, and he's in classes actually to eventually become a Unity minister, believe it or not, which is exciting. And he was talking to me the other day, and he said, there aren't Unities like yours. And I said, ew, there aren't people like me either, so. Now, there are Unities that are similar to ours. Yes, we are very unique. We are. So, let us make a joyful noise unto the what? Law. Unto the law, the rock of our salvation. Now, I know we don't talk about salvation too much here either, and when we say some of those old Christian words, some of us speak direct, go, eh. Do you ever need to be saved from yourself? That's all this is about. Daily, sometimes. I need to change my thoughts because I'm having some skanky dog thought. And if I could remember to be thankful and to sing and to make a joyful noise, I'm going to save myself from whatever this thought is that keeps on going and going and going and going and going. We're going to get back to that in a moment. And so you see three different pictures. The first thing to do when you are needing to shift your thoughts is to breathe. Because if you have negative thoughts, you are probably sphinctering up and not breathing well. I used to not understand all that as well until I got really more proficient in body, mind, spirit kinds of things, because I pretty much had focused my head and up from there. I was a very big intellectual, and I was proud of that. But unfortunately, a lot of times, some of the old thoughts that I brought in with me to Unity, I couldn't get rid of. Because I was trying to catch the thoughts and change them, and catch the thoughts and change them. Anybody do that sometimes? It's like, that is hard, hard. And some of you that have been in this ministry with me for years, I used to say, this is hard. I don't want to do this. Until I woke up one day and went, I feel it in my body. When I have a negative thought that is not really true, I feel it. My body goes. Now, I don't know where it goes that way in you. Sherry knows where it goes that way in me because she's my massage therapist, and she knows exactly where it all sphincters up. There's a board that just sticks in right here, a flat board. Hard. Goes right there. Okay? But you have places in your body that you hold that negative energy. So you're aware of it. And so the first thing you need to do is breathe and then send energy to that place. Send that breath to that place. Now there are 3 pictures, because what I'm going to tell you is when you begin to feel that, do 3 thankfulness statements. 3. There's a reason for that. But what I want you to do in this moment is in a moment I'm going to say ready, set, and go. And I want you to find 3 people in this room. You're going to have to stand up and Rudy around just a little bit. And that's scary to some of you to begin with, I understand. But if you just can stand up and turn around backwards, somebody will be right there, I promise. And I want you to tell 3 different people, and of course when you tell them, you have to give them a moment to tell you something you are thankful for. Ready, set, go. Once you have shared with 3 people, you can go back to your seat. And this is a really good time, hint, to get a sticker off the wall and write a thankfulness statement.
Is she back? Is Valerie back?
Once you have shared with 3 people, you go back to your seat. Yes, I just heard that question. So you know what I notice is that the energy has already shifted dramatically in here. Because the more that I am thankful, the more what? Some of you have forgotten it already. The more I am thankful. So what if you did that practice during your week? What if you set the intention every day to find 3 people during the day that you just shared thankfulness with? Huh. How might that shift? Anybody anxious ever in their life or worry about anything? No, not us. There's a scripture in Philippians that says, be anxious for nothing. Be anxious for what? Nothing. Huh. That person who wrote that obviously didn't know what they were talking about, did they? They said, be anxious for nothing, but in everything. In what? Everything. By prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Everything with thanksgiving? What would that be like? What would it really be like to be thankful for everything? Some of you sang that this morning, whether or not you realize it or not. Subliminally, it went into your brain. We give thanks for everything. You say, no, I didn't sing that. But if you were in this room, you heard it. And at some point in time, this next week, it'll go through your brain. You mean I have to be thankful for this? Yep. Yep. Let your requests be made known to God. Now, who is God? Somebody's phone is talking to us. Who is God? Some of you know, and some of you are still trying to figure it out. God is within you. God is within all of us. So who are you letting your requests be made known to? Your higher self. Isn't that interesting? Don't be anxious. Think about everything and let my higher self know what it is that I need. What would that be like? There was a study also done at Indiana University in 2002 with 43 individuals who had an anxiety disorder. So think about what those individuals would be like. Very anxious about everything. And these individuals were asked for 21 days to stop every day 3 times and be thankful for something. Huh. And I can imagine, because I've worked with people with anxiety disorders, that they would go thank. Right? They were supposed to stop sometime in the morning, think about something they're thankful for. Sometime around noon and think about something they're thankful for. And then the third time was the kicker. This is the one that they didn't want to do. When it gets evening time, I need you to think of someone that you feel like has hurt you, disappointed you, done something that you didn't like, and you need to sit down and write them a thankful note. Yeah. Isn't that pretty? Yes, you have some of the same reactions that people did. But you want to know what? After the first week, several said that the exercise to write the letter helped them start appreciating some of those people in a different way. And at the end of 21 days, 37 of the 43 stated that they had less anxiety and more positive thoughts. Huh. Just being told to be thankful. Huh. We give thanks for what? Everything. Some of you still hadn't got it. The more that I am thankful, all that we are is the result of what? So if I'm sitting and thinking negative thoughts about somebody, guess what? If we're all one, I'm thinking them about me too. Do you get that piece? I can't send something out in the universe before it comes back to me. The more I have to be thankful, the more I have to be thankful. So I'm going to tell you a little story about this man. He doesn't look very thankful, does he? I wouldn't be thankful either. His name is Jehoshaphat. Would you like your name to be that? I would be mad at my mommy. Mommy, why did you name me Jehoshaphat? So here's the deal. deal. I'm gonna give you a little metaphysical Bible also through the month of November, because that's my favorite thing to do as a Unity minister. I love Old Testament stories that are usually nasty. But they're really not about what you think they're about. Now, if some of you look at this map, and some of you that have any kind of a knowledge about the Palestinian-Israeli process, this man was the king of Judah, where the Palestinians live now. And the Israeli people were telling them that you are not God's chosen people, and we don't like you. Does that sound familiar? That's it. That's it. And so he didn't know what to do, because he was told by one of his spies that there were some people coming from Israel, and they were coming with arms, and they were going to kill them. And what would you do? I just want you to think about that in this moment. If you thought somebody was coming to harm you, what would you do? And hear me, there is no right or wrong. I just want you to begin to think about that. And so what he did is he said, okay, I'm going to fast and pray. That was a process back in those days. I'm going to not eat for several days, and I'm going to pray, and I'm going to ask God, what in the world should I do, because I really don't know. I'm supposedly the king of all these people, and I don't know how to keep them safe, and so I don't know what to do. And so God basically said, don't be afraid and don't do anything. Do you think he wanted to hear that? Would you want to hear that? No. Do you know that that story is not really about that? Metaphysically? That story is about that last week or the week before I put the cartoon, we have met the enemy, and the enemy is us. All of the characters in the Old Testament are parts of you. It took me a long time to figure all that out. That there are moments when I'm like Jehoshaphat, and I think that there's something that's going to hurt me, but really it's inside of me. And it's the story and the drama I have created about it. Because as I said to another client this week, something that may have happened to you happened at that moment 10 years ago, and it's not happening today. But you are still functioning like it is happening right now, over and over and over and over. Does that make sense? Because we do that. And we carry it with us, and we tell the story over and over and over and over. And we want somebody to do something about it. Go kill that person. I don't like them anymore. And the first time I really got that is when I went through a divorce from a very, very abusive man, and for 15 years carried that with me. And it was hard. And I despised him, and I despised the church that he was a part of, and I despised all those people, and I thought they were going to hell. Those people are nasty. Until I began to realize that he had gone on and lived his life and had a wife and was doing wonderfully well, and my thoughts were keeping me a prisoner. Wasn't making his life bad. It was making my life bad. Do you understand that piece? And so Jehoshaphat was told when he went into a time of silence, don't do anything. Now, if you read the story in the scriptures, you know what the scriptures say happened. He didn't do anything, and the enemy fought against itself and killed each other. And if you've ever read that, you thought, I remember being a little girl and reading that in the Church of Christ and going, what is that? That seems stupid. They must have not paid attention, or must have been fighting in the dark or something, and not seen that they were fighting each other, and it was their own people they were fighting against. But I didn't understand how to interpret it a different way. When we are anxious, when we are angry, when we are worried, Holy Spirit says, don't do anything. Don't be anxious. Go into prayer and be thankful. How many of you are doing yay raw tootie right now? Some of you are. Some of you are still pondering it. Okay? I understand that. That's what this month is about. How do I live my life and be thankful no matter what is going on? Do I really believe what we teach in Unity, what we focus on gets bigger? I will tell you that if we really believed that, we would never, ever, 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 ever say anything negative. I'm going to say that again. If we really, truly believed our thoughts created our world, we would never, ever, 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 ever say anything negative. Never. We wouldn't have it on our shirts. We wouldn't plaster it on the Facebook. We wouldn't do that. But we are not quite sure, are we? We're not quite sure. And this is not Denise beating up on a group of people. This is Denise beating up on herself. I wouldn't do it either. I would never, ever, 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 ever say anything negative. Judy would be thrilled. Thrilled. Beyond measure. If I never, ever, 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 ever said anything negative. She's going to remind me of that this afternoon. I can promise you. Because what is fasting really about? Letting go of your negative thoughts. When you think about food, it's fasting from food that you're putting into your body. In thought world, it's fasting from the thoughts that you're putting in your mind that are negative. That you're only going to allow good things in. Whoa. You all are going to be Bible scholars before we leave. So, what we are going to do again, and I'm going to explain this one more time, is in a moment I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And I'm going to read the psalm again that Bea read. And here's the process. Because you all can become scholars of sacred writings just in the same way that anybody else is. All you do is listen to it and pick out the truth that jumps out at you. And the beauty of that is the truth that jumps out at me may be different at what jumps out at Sherry, or what jumps out at me. But you listen for the truth that jumps out at you, and then you reflect on it in the silence. And as you reflect on that in the silence, you will have a realization for yourself. Oh, you know, I probably should take about 25,000 of those little Post-it notes and stick them up everywhere. That would be my realization. And then you come up with an affirmation. We have an affirmation that we're going to use today, but you may have your own. Today's is, the more that I am thankful, we're getting better, it's getting warmer. So I just ask that you close your eyes for a moment. The more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for. Blessed are those who walk hand in hand with goodness, who stand beside virtue, who sit in the seat of truth. For their delight is in the spirit of love, and in love's heart they dwell day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water that yield fruit in due season, and their leaves flourish. And in all that they do, they give life. The unloving are not so. Turning from the heart of love, they will know suffering and pain. For love knows the way of truth. Penetrating light breaks through hearts filled with love. Thankfulness is the way back to love. Thankfulness is the way back to light. Thankfulness is the way back to goodness.
And so I ask that you just go into the silence for a moment. And acknowledge what jumped out at you. Living, loving Spirit, we are so blessed to be here. To be able to remind ourselves yet one more time, the more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for. And so it is. Amen.
Wake up, everybody. Come on. I know, that's all. We're being thankful. Never fails the.
I know. And I thought, I didn't even tell her I was going to do that.
You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. Waiting at the station with the workday wind blowing, I've got nothing to do but watch the passers-by. Mirrored in their faces, I see frustration growing, and they can't see it showing. Why do I? You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people are gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. Judy Blackfeather on the piano. Woo! I think y'all should stand up. I'm going to sleep. Come on. Woo! I have often asked myself the reason for the sadness in a world where tears are just another word. Maybe love can end the madness, maybe not. Oh, but we can only try. Sing with me. You got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful as you feel. As you feel. Do you feel beautiful? Can you feel that? Can you feel that? You are beautiful. Your heart is growing. Let your light shine. You gotta let it shine. You gotta let it shine. Let it shine. Because you're beautiful.
that she sounds like Carole King when she plays the piano. So now I'm going to tell Carole King that she sounds like Judy Blackwell when she plays the piano. It's time now for us to have the opportunity to give back to our sacred community through the giving of our tithes and offerings. So if you'll take your gifts in your hand and say the offering blessing with me, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. hands and our hearts and our minds to bless these tithes and offerings. And the question that came from the audience earlier is, what does a supplication mean? It means asking. And so we ask that these tithes and offerings bless this congregation and the unity of Music City, so that in turn we can bless those that receive this money out into the world. And as we all are processing this idea of being thankful, may each of us go out into our worlds this week and be thankful for many, many things. Because the more I am thankful, the more I have to be thankful for. And so it is. Amen. I tell you, in my office, I've got about 5 of those little pads of sticky notes sitting on my desk, and what I end up putting up on the counter in front of me is what I have to do, what I have to do, what I have to do. So I'm going to do a little thing where every time I put up what I have to do, I'm going to put one right next to it of what I'm thanking for. That's what I'm going to do. Why don't you stand up and join hands and let's sing together to close this service.